Today we're going to be going over the 3 biggest key realizations that I had to come to terms with for myself that propelled me to make over 500K a year. And for context, I would probably say it's a little bit over that. But as you know, when you own your own business, you can really only take the averages and then multiply them out by 12. Now, I believe 500K a year should probably be anywhere around 50K a month. In September, I'm going to put up a screenshot. I peaked out at 80 grand. So who knows where this revenue is at, obviously by the end of this year, because earlier this year I started out at, 20K a month. All that to say, 3 key realizations that I had to come to terms with myself that helped me make 500K a year. The first one, a lot of people think that there's like a certain hack. A lot of people think that there's like a certain tactic or a certain concept that they need to do to actually be better, or to actually get more clients, or to actually, let's say, make it in life, or become a blue belt, or whatever. In all reality, you literally just need to do twice as much, not even twice as much. The people better than you are doing 10 times as much. And I don't think that's really a reality that a lot of people can come to terms with as to why they're not that much better, or as to why they're not progressing as to where they want to be. In jiu-jitsu, let's even take out like money, for example, right? I have been wondering why I'm still a white belt for the longest time. And I had a conversation with the guy who did it in less than 8 months. And all he really said was, Josh, I trained 3 times a day. Every single day. And I was just like, whoa. Here I was thinking that I deserve to progress fast because I'm working out, or I'm training 3 times a week. What he was doing 3 times a day for 7 days a week. That is 21 sessions versus my 3. That is 7 times more. That is insane. Or better yet, when someone asks me, Josh, why am I not making as much money? And then I ask them, what do you do during the day? And then they play Fortnite, they go on so many dates with their girlfriend, they go hang out with their boys, they're watching a football game, they're watching this, and I'm like, dude, you need to be doing like 10 times more to at least get to where I'm at. Right? Obviously where I'm at is not where I want to be, and I know for sure that I need to be doing 10 times more than how much I think I'm doing right now. And I think that is one of the best realizations that someone can actually make. And by the way, guys, I am so sorry if I sound congested. I am. I've been battling a cold for the last 4 or 5 days. All right, let's get to number 2. The second realization. And I think this one might be my more important one, and it's a little bit of a hot take. And, this might come off bad, when you come from a faith background like me. But when you just really think about it, it frees you. And the concept is, no one is going to save you. Let me say that again. No one is going to save you. I grew up without a father. I grew up with a mother and, 4 kids. She was a single mom with 4 kids. She had to work 2-3 jobs at any given time to provide for the family. And here I was wondering, I'm like, oh man, why why can't my mom do this, or why don't I have a dad, or whatever, until one day I literally just said to myself, Joshua, no one is going to save you. And once I really, genuinely came to that realization that no one was going to save me, that freed me up of so much expectation from people on how they were going to treat me, on how my biological father owed me something, or how my mother owed me something, or how my teacher owed me a better grade, or how all of these people owed me something. Because I expected them, or I expected someone to save me. I expected someone to mentor me. I expected someone to give me a handout. But once I came to terms that, oh crap, no one's going to save me, I personally stopped putting those expectations that that person might save me on them. And that frees you up from expecting those things from anyone you're going to deal with. That frees you up from, let's say you give one thing to one person, and that frees you up to not expecting anything back in return. If you go out of your way for someone or something, then you shouldn't expect back anything. But even back to the original point of no one's going to save you, that frees you up to put all of the accountability and all of the discipline on yourself. That allows you to take back that control from those other people. And that allows you to be fearless. Because when you can control the certain things in your life, in a weird way, that takes away some fear. Oops. Whoa. I just almost crashed. Anyways, very, very key, important thing, that no one is going to save you. And I really, I don't mean that in any bad way, but you just need to come to terms with that. Alright, my second point, my second important, very, I need to think of the third point. Hold on, guys. I'm getting in a little bit of traffic, and I'm not trying to crash. All right. My third and final point, this is probably a little bit more tactical. You do not make money based on how hard you work. You make money in direct proportion to the value you bring to the table. You know, I've gotten in arguments where I've made that claim and they just thought that I was putting my work or whatever I did as superior to them, and I did not mean that whatsoever. I didn't mean it in that sense. I meant it in a sort of truth, because there was a time when I was in high school where I was a sushi chef assistant, I was a busboy, I was going to school, and I was trying to launch my online business. And man, I was working hard. I was working so hard. But guess what? Me working hard did not mean that I was making $500K a year. The immigrants, my mother, who worked 3 jobs, right? Who worked an insane amount of jobs, did not mean that they were going to make a lot of money. And that is again, another little bit of a hot take. But the reason I say that is because when you go into Foot Locker, whenever you go into Champs, or whenever you go anywhere, right? When you buy a pair of shoes, they don't care if you worked hard for that money. What they care about is, do you have the money to buy it? They don't care about, how many lawns you mowed for it. They don't care about how many dishes you washed for it, or how many cars you washed for it, or any of those things. They do not care. The business owners do not care. Now, they might empathize with you, but in the most truest forms, they do not care. What they care about is if you got the money or not to buy their service or product. And that kind of goes hand in hand to when you work with people or to when people hire you. Yes, they care about your well-being. Yes, they want you to stick around. Yes, they want your whole team or whatever, your job, to feel like a family. Just double check. But in all reality, they kind of don't care, right? Like, will they choose your happiness and well-being versus making sure there's food on the table for their baby? No. Like, no. I would not do that. And, you know, it really comes down to it of like, what is the value that you brought to the table for that company or for that brand or for that business or whatever? Or even if you switch it around, how can I make more money? Well, you can make more money by bringing more value to someone's life. I'll take that back. You can make more money by bringing value to someone's business or their enterprise. It's like such a basic concept, yet so hard to understand. And the reason why I'm not saying bring more revenue or bring more dollars is because sometimes the value is in keeping the dollars, not bringing more dollars. The value is in not having to spend more dollars, right? So that's being compliant, that is being an executive assistant, that is, like doing things that allows the other side or the other party to make more money, or just flat out make them a lot more money. And that is exactly what I mean by you are not paid, and that is exactly what I mean by you are not paid directly to how hard you work, but in correlation to the amount of value you bring to the table. Those are my three key things that I've learned. I hope you found this valuable. If you didn't, well, dang, that sucks. But hopefully you might have learned a thing or two. And if you want to learn more about me, you could click subscribe and you can kind of just watch through the other videos, vlogs, educational resources that I've made. And honestly, I'm pretty excited to, engage with you more. And also, if you want to learn how to make your first $1,000 online, then join my school community below. It's very, very important and imperative that if you want to change careers, if you want to learn how to make money online, just join the school community.